I find paparazzi to be incredibly invasive. I always have, but at first it was like cool, right? Oh, I'm getting paparazzi, like I'm popular, I'm important, I feel good. Now I'm like, hey, I had to, bro, at the Grove the other day, I'm waiting in line to get shoes from Nike, and this girl TMZ comes up and just sticks his camera in our face and just starts asking some like just weird shit about like a farting fetish or something. And I was like, hey, while this is incredibly stimulating, I'd love to just like stand here and get my shoes and go home like in peace. She was nice, she left. But I am fascinated by the I don't know if it's inability, but paparazzi really doesn't give a fuck about you or your space. So is it a conflict of interest? Because I know Bieber's had a lot of run-ins with paparazzi. He tells them off all the time. He has conversations. What are you doing, man? Why this job isn't for you? I can't believe you're doing this.
I can't tell you how many hours I have watched Justin Bieber go, hey, talk to me. And you'll just sit there. And then there's sometimes where he'll leave them and he'll just close the door. And like, I die. No, he's so funny when it comes to that shit.
It gets old. It gets old. So you're a master at forming these relationships, but is there ever a conflict of interest?
In what? With the paparazzi?
I don't want to put words in Bieber's mouth, but you know, sometimes the paparazzi makes him feel uncomfortable, and you're good friends with one of those people. Yeah. Is that a conflict of interest?
Oh, you mean with Kevin Wong?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
like, is Bieber ever like, hey, Johnny, like, this guy from time and time again is sitting outside a restaurant. I just took my wife on a date.
Yeah, well, Kevin's not one of those guys. Okay. You know, Kevin is like the nice guy. Like, you know,
I actually don't know him.
I think, Kevin, I remember
he came up to us the other night. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember Jake was at Boa once. And I guess Kevin tried to interview him and Jake didn't want to deal with it. So Jake walked right past them and kind of gave him an attitude, but it didn't really know him that much and just didn't want to deal with it, right? Just like, you don't want to deal with it, Justin wants to deal with it.
Sometimes, bro. Yeah. It's all circumstantial.
But Kevin texts me, he's like, hey, just a heads up, next time you tell Jake, tell him I apologize. You know, I could tell he was having a bad day. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. Now, some of these other guys, you know, maybe these newer ones are the ones who are just really thirsty. Yeah, they get in your face, you know, and they ask dumb questions. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen some paparazzi guys ask some questions, you know, sometimes like 15, 16-year-old TikTokers. I'm like, whoa. They do. Yeah, like aggressive. I don't want to know about this. Next video, please.
But here's the way I've always looked at it. And not to compare the two, not to compare them, you know, perfectly, but the garbage man, when he comes to pick up the garbage, sometimes comes at 7:30 in the morning. The can smashed on the ground.
So loud.
I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sleeping. But guess what? It's a necessary service.
Have to do it.
And people are making money off doing that service. Capital. And so thanks for the ad-libs. And so when you look at paparazzi, there are consumers to that content, and there is a whole industry behind it. And so, well, me and him may not like it. The industry exists, right? And so I think it comes down to people like Kevin who understand that there is a boundary that exists and to respect it. Obviously, me and you remember the story of Princess Di, and we've seen how far paparazzi's overreaction can lead. And you know, a lot has changed in that space. I want to tie it back just a little bit to business building, because this is what we were talking about earlier. How do you help someone like Kevin Wong, and I know you're not working with him from a business perspective, create a product? Because the way that I've always looked at real influence in this world, and especially building a brand around your influence, is if you can't make someone feel something, you don't have shit. That has always been my belief on it. So if you can't make someone feel something viscerally inside them from witnessing your content, whether it's inspiration, disgust, whatever it is, some sort of visceral reaction or bond to your content, it's very hard to then sell a product to them.